Well, I guess the debate about the Anvil Arrow and the questions are all going to be answered on November the 23rd. Apparently, the Anvil Arrow is going to be flyable. It's going to be on the November 23rd is the Anvil Day. That is when everybody, and I mean everybody, even those that don't have a game package, will be able to check it out. So it shows up as apparently flight ready. So yes, apparently the Anvil Arrow is going to be flight ready on the 23rd, and everyone is going to have a chance to fly it. So one of these great opportunities to try before you buy, something that is all too rare in Star Citizen in my opinion, but something to look forward to. Now, as to the other questions, the questions that I receive all the time, I'm thinking about selling ship X, buying ship Y, what do you think? Well, now you're going to get a chance to try everything out. Everything that is currently flyable is going to be something that you can try on a certain day. Now, November 23rd, obviously, Anvil Aerospace. November 24th, Roberts Space Industries. November 25th, Origin Jump Works. November 26th, Aegis Dynamics. November 27th, Drake Interplanetary. November 28th, Alien Manufacturers, so Xi'an, the Vanduul, and that's the glaive and the blade. I don't see the scythe there on that list, so an interesting omission there, though that may not be intentional. It might just be a typo. November 29th, Misk, and November the 30th, Kruger, Argo, Tumbril, and Consolidated Outland. With that out of the way, let's talk about it. Now, first off, let's talk about the upside of this thing. So, of course, the Anvil being a flyable the Anvil Arrow being a flyable ship, great. I mean, I'm sure that there's a lot of people who would wish that every ship was sold this way as already flyable. That would be a great thing, but, there are plenty of ships still waiting to be done, so I'm kind of on the fence on this one. I kind of wish that instead this time had been spent cooking up another surprise, perhaps a much more long-awaited ship being finally ready to be flyable. Something, I don't know, I mean, like the Banu Merchantman, or the Carrack, or the Cutlass Blue, the Cutlass Red, something like that, something that we already knew that they were working on at least at one point. I think that would have been a much more pleasant surprise. I can't find myself getting too excited about a ship that I know really nothing about, so kind of wish that this time had been spent on something else, something that's been kind of waiting for a long time to get completed. Even if it didn't mean that it would be ready today, at least it would be further along. But it is what it is. So I think that the real good takeaway from this is that anybody is going to be able to go in and fly just about any ship in the Star Citizen universe that is currently flyable. I think there's a few outliers that don't appear on this list. I think the Vanduul Scythe is not appearing on the list so far that I've seen, though once again that could be a typo. There may be some unique models that aren't going to show up, but in general there's a lot of ships that a lot of people ask me questions about. What do you think of this ship? What do you think of that ship? I'm thinking about selling this ship that I'm not happy with and moving into that ship. What do you think? Well, now you can go and you can fly and test these ships out and really kind of put them through the ringer and see what's going on with different ships and do they suit you better than others. And I almost wish that an event like this was more of a regular thing. Obviously, it can't be the same thing all the time. You can't have access to all the ships because otherwise Port Olisar would be a mess of hammerheads and reclaimers, and you would never get a large landing pad. But I think that it would be good to have these events on a much more regular basis to give players a better chance to explore their different options in the universe rather than read a blurb of text or see some stats which might ultimately and more than likely change between the time that the ship is sold and the time that the ship becomes actually flyable, even all the way to the point where we're having that ship in a semi-finished state and can consider its design pretty much locked in. I think that having every ship available to every player, certainly on a daily basis, isn't a good idea, but maybe, you know, where as a subscriber like myself has access to one ship a month and we can try that out, maybe it needs to be modified to where maybe subscribers have access to a few ships, but everybody gets access to a rotating list of ships and a far-ranging access to different ships. Maybe even subscribers have access to try out all kinds of, or all of the flyable ships, so they can, that's a bit of a bonus to them. And whereas, unsubscribed players can have access to maybe different batches of 10 ships, because I think allowing players to go out and test a whole bunch of different ships, it can alleviate a lot of problems, a lot of anxiety. Am I in the right ship? Am I doing the right thing? And then if I make this move and I take all this money out of this ship and put it into that ship, am I going to like that anymore? There's only so much you can learn from a YouTube video. A lot of that experience is personal. It's something where you might say that sometimes people have complaints about the ships that aren't really complaints about the ships, but are complaints about, what they thought the career that ship is involved in was going to be like, what they had idealized it to be like, and the reality is heading in a direction that they don't like. And this helps them kind of maybe go out and find something that's probably more their speed or more something that suits them much better than what they had idealized in their minds. So I think that this should be a much more regular experience in the community, and it would help certainly me avoid a lot of, this ship's good or that ship's good, because all of that is, once again, it's tainted by my point of view. Your point of view on things may be different. What you enjoy in the game and what I enjoy in the game can be entirely different. It's entirely subjective. So, well, to a certain point. There are certain objective realities I think that we all have to acknowledge, but there are certain things that people are going to enjoy that other people are not, and I think giving people access to those experiences is something that's going to save them a lot of time when it actually counts in the game. And I think it's going to lead to CIG having to deal with less requests involving ships that are somewhat superfluous and don't really have anything to do with the ship, but have to do with the career direction overall, where someone may have chosen an incorrect path that doesn't suit them. So hopefully, a lot of people are going to get a chance to try out a lot of different ships and see a whole lot of different ideas as to how to enjoy Star Citizen. And that, I think, ultimately is going to be a very good thing. Anyways, that's the show for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And yes, the next Kraken video is going to be on Monday. It's actually already recorded, so I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Anyways, that's the show for today. Thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching. So if you want to keep up with the latest and greatest in Star Citizen and Squadron 42's development, please follow us on our social media channels. See you soon.